On today's podcast, I had one half of the Austin Flipsters on, and if you don't know who they are making the best real estate before and after content on flips. Way better than mine. And let me tell you, their story is really cool. Lincoln was on talking about how he went to Harvard and got an MBA and ended up going to house flipping. So you don't want to miss out on that. We also talk about the future of what these reality TV shows look like for house flipping and how he is challenging the TV networks and how I think there's going to be a huge disruption going forward as things evolve with social media. So make sure you stay to the end. Now, let's jump into it.
Are you looking to grow your real estate investing business? My company, Future Flipper, can help. We've taught hundreds of people all over the country how to flip, wholesale, and buy rental properties. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your investing journey. Whether you're trying to get your first deal or scale your company, Future Flipper can help. We have courses, coaching, and events for all levels of investors. So if you want to take the next step, go to futureflipper.com and book a free consultation to see how we can best help you. Once again, that's futureflipper.com. If you've ever wanted to invest with me on my real estate deals, it's now possible. At Pineda Capital, we're purchasing value-add real estate all across the country. This includes multifamily, commercial, and land development. The best part is, with my network, social media presence, and marketing strategies, we're able to get the very best deals that others don't have access to. You can join in with me on those deals if you're an accredited investor. If you want to learn more, head over to pinedacapital.com to see our current opportunities. Once again, that's pinedacapital.com. Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest.
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
Innovate.
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
And inspire.
I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, we are in Austin, Texas, and I knew that when I was out here for FinCon, I had to go hit up the Austin Flipsters. Now, we've only got one half of them today, but just talking with him, it's pretty wild the journey's been on. Got none other than Lincoln Edwards. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's good, dude.
Welcome to Austin, man.
It is weird out here, man. That's what they say. That's what they say in the house here on the thing behind me.
That's
but
right.
You had to correct me earlier because I was like, yeah, man, you're the Austin Flippers. And you're like, no, Flipsters. We got a bunch of hipsters out here.
That's right. Common misconception. It's branding, man. You got to trademark that Flipster.
Yeah. You know what's? I think my friend Jerry Norton has a product called Flipster.
Yeah, we've got beef. We got beef with you, Jerry. By the way, I'm coming.
Do you know
for
Jerry?
You. No, I don't. But he named that product Flipster, and my guy Joe pointed that out to me. So now I don't know.
Jerry's a friend of mine. I can link you guys up. I'll be like, hey, Jerry, this guy hates you. Like, you know.
I like Jerry's stuff though. No,
yeah.
I do. So that's why.
Yeah, very cool. So, funny thing is, my video guy Ray here, or not my video guy, my content manager, he's a big fan of your guys' channel. He told me this like 6 months ago. He's like, you got to check out these Austin Flipsters. Like, they have the best videos I've ever seen. Yeah. And then Gabe said the same thing. And I watched the video. I was like, dude, am I watching HGTV or am I watching YouTube? Because my videos don't look like this, and I've never seen any videos look like this.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys, dude. How'd you guys do it?
Thanks, man. Well, first of all, shout out to our videographer and editor, Joey. Go give him a follow, Joey in the news, because he's behind the production quality. But yeah, I mean, we really pride ourselves on trying to just make it as high quality production for our videos and really go all out and give people like a full before and after real estate experience in a single video. Not drag it out, like really deliver the goods,
Yeah, like what's his background? Did he come from TV or he's just like that good?
He is great, man. He was he had a background in media, and he used to edit skydiving videos for a company. And man, we just put out a call when we were looking for a videographer and had people submit videos, and he submitted an awesome one about his story of moving to Austin and we loved him.
Yeah, the rest is history. So you basically will make these really crazy videos before and after of the whole project. Obviously, I mean, these projects take a long time. Like this is months in the making to do one video.
Oh yeah.
So like, how many hours do you think you put into one video?
Oh my God, hours in a single video. I don't even know that I could calculate. Like you said, I mean, we've had projects that have taken 9 months, a year, and then, then the filming and the editing after that.
You just look completely different.
I did. Joey, our editor, he was like, when we first started out, like I had a beard, then I shaved, and he was like, dude, the continuity, you gotta keep your facial hair.
Yeah, you gotta be
one
consistent.
way or the other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's funny, man. So tell me a little bit about this journey, because I know that you went to Harvard and you've done some crazy stuff to this point. And it's always funny. Anytime I talk to house flippers, it's like nobody grows up and they're like, yeah, I want to be a house flipper. That's like my career choice. Even though I will say with social media, I do meet a lot of 16, 18-year-old kids that are like, yo, I want to wholesale and make millions. I want to flip. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even know this was a thing until way later in my career. Mm-hmm. So they're starting earlier and earlier. But, tell me a little bit about your backstory.
Yeah, I didn't grow up around real estate or real estate investing, and I worked in oil and gas out of undergrad. I didn't really think about real estate that much, although I did. I scraped together some money for my first house and did the house hacking thing and rented out the bedrooms to my buddies and like helped get them jobs near where I was. Yeah. But then after grad school, I started working in commercial real estate and doing acquisitions. We bought maybe $150 million of commercial real estate. And I went out on my own. And when I started the flipping thing, it was really because I was like, I just didn't want, I'd done the money raising thing and the partner thing. And I was just trying to avoid the headaches of, dealing with, a bunch of squeaky wheels basically. So I was like, let me have something that can be wholly mine that I can do with just the money that I've made. And at that time, I didn't have enough money to go do commercials. So I started out flipping and, scaled that up from there.
Yeah. So crazy thing was, you're telling me you went to A&M, mm-hmm. You then went to Harvard to do this thing. And like, was your dream to just get into managing money? Like, what was it?
Oh man, I don't know what what were my dreams. I've come so far from them.
Well, how do you like, obviously going to Harvard is not some like drop in the bucket deal. Like, yeah, you had to have at least had some aspiration of like, I'm going to Harvard so I can do X, Y, Z.
No, you know what it was? I think for me, this is a lesson anybody's trying to go to.
Stop, hold up. Make sure you
sorry, my
stay
bad.
6 inches.
My bad.
All right, so go on.
Yeah, no, man. This was a lesson for me. I made it a big goal to get into Harvard because, like, that was a lot of work for me. It was probably at the time like the hardest thing I'd ever done in terms of studying and getting good grades and then applying. And I was kind of like the dog who caught the car when I got there. I was like, oh shit, I got in.
Yeah.
What now?
You weren't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it. No, in fact, I didn't think I'd get in. That was the only place I applied because I was just like, I'm going to try, and then
if it happens, whatever.
If it happens, great. Yeah. But I really was planning to work more, and I was going to like come back the next year, really do it properly. But I was like, yeah, this year I'll try. And then I got in, and I was like, well, I can't turn this down, so I went. And then from there, it was like, I'm graduating. I got to figure out what I'm doing, and I think it's something like a quarter of my class went to New York City or San Francisco, and they did investment banking or consulting for McKinsey, that sort of thing, which I didn't really have any interest to do. Like, I wanted to get back to Texas. So I was like, let me get back to where I want to be. Let me get back to Austin and then figure out from there.
Yeah. It's funny because I did not go to Harvard, but I got a degree in economics. And dude, I honestly went to school and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, why am I getting a degree in economics? Like, the economics department sent me a letter. They were like, hey, you got an A in microeconomics. Not many people do that as freshmen, so you should be an economist. And I was like, okay, what do they do? And they're like, trust me, it's the highest paying career that you could get in a business type degree. I'm like, okay, that sounds good to me. Let's do that. And as I went through it throughout college, I'm like, what am I even doing? What can I possibly? They're like, you could do a ton of stuff. You practice theory. And I was like, what kind of skill is that? What do I do?
Yeah. Yeah. Economists say that's really good in practice, but does it work in theory?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm like, what am I? So it was funny. Like, as I went through, I'm like, this is useless. But what were some things you learned in Harvard? Like, or what were your favorite experiences?
Oh. Well, most of them, you get canceled for now, I think.
Hey, it's all good.
No. Honestly, it was just that was an awesome experience. Just the education, I would say, was like it was great. It was world class, but it wasn't really what set it apart. It was your network of peers, like people that had done crazy stuff from all over the world, and then. For me, who's I was probably like a little insecure going there, like a little bit of do I belong, do I fit in, whatever, and just getting to know those people, talk to them. It's like these are normal people. This is not some rarefied air, or these are not people that are doing superhuman stuff. These are normal people that have just like worked really hard to get where they are. So
you don't feel like they were just so much smarter than everyone? Like they're just very disciplined and hardworking?
I mean, look, there are definitely some really smart
geniuses.
Yeah, but I would say like, there were maybe like a handful of people that I was just like, wow, this person's on another
He's
level.
A freak. Yeah.
He's a freak, And then the rest, it was just like, yeah, really smart, diligent, hardworking people. And that's what I was, I wasn't like, I worked super hard on, whatever, the GMAT and on my grades and all that. And, I'm not dumb, but I worked my ass off,
Yeah. You don't consider yourself a genius.
No.
No. So one thing that I've heard from people that have gone to Harvard or why they choose to go to an Ivy League school or something is the networking, right? Yeah. You're with people who are going to do big things at some point. It's just inevitable. And just to be able to know them before that and to have their info or have somebody's info who knows somebody.
Yeah.
Have you seen that play out at all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, people in my class of 90 folks that are like literally billionaires now that were, 10 years removed from that. It's crazy. But yeah, the network and the doors that it opens, it's wild. And the thing I figured out after that is it's a great door opener. And it doesn't walk through the door for you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can get an audience with like anybody. People will take you seriously. You got to get in there and then deliver. But it does make reaching people, having that legitimacy, people take you
just
more
an
seriously.
Opportunity. Like, look, you got to close all the time, but all you're asking for is an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you go into the fund world, and what are you doing there?
So we were buying commercial real estate. Raising from limited partners and putting together, portfolio of traditional office, multifamily, retail, commercial real estate, and packaging it up.
Yeah.
Putting a little bit of lipstick on it, leasing it up or whatever, and hopefully getting a good return.
Yeah. And then you finally, how many years did you do that?
I was only there 2 years. It was just, I didn't think it was a fit. It wasn't exciting to me. And, I think deep down I knew I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be, the captain of my own ship, however big or small, that ship is.
Right. So you leave that and you say, you know what, I'm going to go flip houses. How did that happen?
So it wasn't quite that smooth. I actually, I left and I did raise some money to invest for folks outside of real estate. And I made some money in that fund, right? But I ended up having a lot of my net worth tied up from the money I made in this fund. So really it started out as a diversification play. I was like, I got to take some of these chips off the table. And I started with multifamily. It's like, let me buy some buy and hold real estate to just, fall back on, smooth out the cash flow. And then from there, I was like, I think I could do house flipping. It looks fun. The capital requirement is not crazy. So I was like, let me try this out. And so that was about 2015 when I started flipping.
Okay. So tell me, what was the first flip like?
It was a great flip. I bought it from a wholesaler. It was like a halfway house. So they had the garage converted into 2 bedrooms. There were a bunch of dudes living there.
Nice. That's my specialty, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just, weird houses.
Yeah.
Man. I was on the call with a short story. I was on the call with a seller just now actually he wasn't the seller. He was the neighbor of a house we bought years ago, right? And I remember I gave him my number because I was like, hey, just so you know, I bought this house. If you need anything, let me know. This is like way earlier in my career. And dude, this guy was a nightmare. He kept blowing me up all the time. He was like, that guy you bought it from did XYZ. He had prostitutes in there. He was scamming people with insurance fraud. I'm like, what's that got to do with me, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I just bought the house and did you a favor. Like, I bought it from this guy. He's gone.
Yeah.
And whatever. So then, long story short, he kept reporting us to the city for every little thing. And then it was a nightmare flipping that property. And I was like, dude, that guy sucks. And then, dude, randomly, out of the blue today, I get a call, and I don't know who it is, but this guy, he's like, yeah, I'm trying to sell XYZ property. You know, I'd take X for it, and let me know if you're interested. He's like, I know you flip, and you want to make some money. I'll cut you a good deal. And I called him back, and I was like, yeah, tell me, like, how do you have my number? Like, who are you? And then he starts reminding me of the story, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this guy? And, you know, either way, it actually might end up making me some money dealing with this guy.
Hey man, you're building your network one a-hole at a time, man.
Yeah.
I ended up flipping. I had the opposite experience because when I sold that halfway house, I sold it to a single mom, and she wrote me this letter about how much she loved the house, and she could see her little girl growing up in it, and it was near her work, and she wanted a 10 grand off the asking price. She's like, I know it's not what you're asking, but whatever. And so of course I did that deal, and I was like sold. Are you kidding me? That was the best experience ever.
Yeah.
Like take a halfway house and give it to a single mom to raise her
give her a
daughter
beautiful
in.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. So
That's awesome. So how much did you end up profiting on that first deal?
It was nothing crazy. It was maybe like 30 grand. I think we exited a little over 300K exit point. So something like that. Enough to where I was like, wow, okay,
cool.
Good feeling. And I made 30 grand. Took me, I don't know, whatever, three or 4 months all in. And I was like,
I could do this over and over.
Definitely do this over and over. And certainly with, I spent a lot of time kind of like, managing crew, popping in a lot. But from there, I was like, yeah, I got this. And, that was probably like, beginner's luck. You're like the houses after that, I was like, oh, I'm learning lessons I wish I would have learned on the first one. You go too big, or you don't vet the contractor enough, or whatever. So you got that learning experience along the way.
Yeah.
But ironed out the kinks. But had I had a bad experience on that first one, I probably would have just like cashed it in and said, no, never mind.
You'd have been back in oil.
Back to oil and gas. Back to commercial real estate. You know.
So 2015, you flipped that first one, and how have you progressed since then?
Yeah, it was a slow, gradual thing where like did one, then one at a time, then 2, 3, built that up a little bit, and then as that got going, I was like, man, I gotta hire some help to help me manage those. And then the main bottleneck started being the deal flow. I was buying from wholesalers, but I felt like I was, always kind of getting pinched a little. And so we did our own marketing, but then it was like, when you turn that off, if you don't have enough capital to do all the deals, it's sort of like, money's going down the drain. So we started a wholesaling business to sort of be our own in-house
Cash flow.
acquisition arm and get some cash flow on the deals if they weren't a right fit, or we were tapped out on capital or whatever,
That's cool, man. So tell me, were you doing this with your partner the whole time, or did you guys meet later? Like, what happened?
So my partner Lauren and I, we went to A&M together, and we're great friends. We interned together. She worked for my sister for a few years, and then when I moved to Boston, we lost touch for a few years and moved back, and I started flipping houses, and we reconnected maybe a year or two after that. And she was kind of doing the same thing, and she would do kind of like a live-in flip. She'd fix up the house, they'd live in it, sell it, keep it as a rental or whatever. And we were like, I don't know. We just had a great time. We remembered why we were great friends, and we were like, man, we're both doing the same thing. Why, let's team up. Let's do some flips together. And that's how we got working together.
Yeah. So you guys pretty much started the journey pretty soon together on this, and at what point did it lead to this big YouTube channel?
Oh man, that was that was the weirdest thing. So, probably about 2018, I wasn't a big YouTube guy. I didn't, I watched a cat video or whatever. I thought that's what YouTube was for, right?
Me too.
Yeah. And you know what? Do you watch a lot of YouTube? I know
No.
you crank out a lot of content, right?
No, I don't have time.
Yeah, exactly. So for whatever reason, I go down this rabbit hole and it serves me up a PewDiePie video.
Yeah, I know what PewDiePie is.
And I'm like, this guy's funny.
Yeah.
And I look on his channel. I'm like, the dude's got 1 million videos. I'm like, how
got
does
100 million subs.
Yeah, how many, and why is he doing this? Why would he spend all his time? I had no concept that like people were making money on there, that you could build a brand on there. So I went down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, wow, there are people that this is their career. And what really got me was then I started reading about Ryan's toy review, the toy kid.
Yeah, killing it.
Talking about $100 million, whatever he's doing. And I was just like, oh my God, this is insane that people are building real businesses on that. And it clicked for me with him where I was like, oh, okay. If you tie a product to this basically flips the marketing funnel on its head where, instead of having to go out and pay for attention,
Ads. Yep.
people's, it's the reverse. You're getting paid to get your message seen and then sell a product. And so just for, just out of pure curiosity, I was flipping houses. So I was like, and people were filling all these niches on YouTube. I was like, I wonder who's doing HGTV on YouTube. Like, there's somebody out there killing it, completely cutting out the middleman, the network, and doing this. And I went looking, and like I said, this was 2018, and it was a ghost town. It was like, nobody is doing this.
Nope.
Yeah. And so that was the impetus of it. I just got this wild hair that was like, well, why not us? How hard could that be?
Yeah.
Right? Pretty hard, as it turns out.
As it turns out.
Yeah.
Making videos ain't easy.
Yeah. No, I know. It was just like a total naivete. It was like, why not us? This sounds fun.
Yeah.
We have fun flipping these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're buddies. Let's try it. You know?
That's crazy, dude. So 2018, you started the channel around then?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it take to like finally get traction and like figure yourselves out?
Man, it probably took a good year before, I'd have to pull up the sub counts, but it was probably a good year before like really anybody noticed. And it was maybe, I think it was 18 months before we like got our first brand deal. And so it was probably like, we got maybe 1,000 subscribers in, I don't know, whatever, 6 months or something, and climbed up to 20. And then it seemed like we went from 20 to 100, 150 in, I don't know, 6 months, 9 months, which is, in the world of YouTube, not crazy exponential growth. But for us, it was like, wow, this is
cool.
This is cool. This is pretty fast. And it went from, hey, we're sinking a lot of time and money into this, into actually making it. And that was really, that for me, all I ever wanted when we started, it was like, I just want to bridge that chasm. I want this investment to be neutral, and if it could pay off, and if we can get business out of it, and it can be neutral marketing. That was my goal at first, right?
Yeah.
And then it's since climbed well beyond that, but
right.
that was it. But getting there, spanning that chasm was tough.
When you first started, were you making like these high quality videos off the bat?
So pretty much, when we started out, we were like, okay, everybody on YouTube, all the advice was like, oh, it's quantity over quality. It's just like get out there, crank out content, and then people just grind it.
Yep.
And so we kind of tried that. We're like, oh, well, maybe we can break these episodes up into, 10-parter or whatever. And it quickly was like, this is boring. Nobody knows who we are. And nobody cares that, the episode started with us not having a beam in the ceiling and now we have one. It was just boring. And we were like, we're running businesses. We don't have the capacity. Screw it. Let's go for the highest quality product that we can produce. Let's give somebody who doesn't know who I am or care, because if you're watching my video for the first time, you don't care who I am. Let's give them what they actually want, which is a before and after house transformation story, and let's go all in on that.
Yeah.
And that's what worked.
Yeah. No, and it's crazy because you're telling me the first year, you didn't really have much traction, and you're like, dude, these videos are so hard to make, and yet you still stayed with it while running a house flipping business that has its own problems and, everything on a day-to-day basis. And I tell this to my entrepreneur or actually real estate investor friends, right? I'm in a lot of masterminds, and these guys are doing big volume of flips. And my pitch to them, not pitch, but I'm just like, dude, you guys got to get on social media. I don't care if it's TikTok. I don't care if it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just start posting content because it's so good for your business. And for them, a lot of them do start and they say, okay, I'm going to do it. And they'll post for like a month.
Right.
They don't get the results they want because they're already well off. They're making money. They're like, dude, this ain't worth my time.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, you don't get it. It's worth it in the long run. You just give it years. Like have the foresight to say that this is like a huge long-term thing.
Yeah.
And I know that the first bunch of months and even year, potentially more than 1 year, are not going to be worth it. Like you will get a bad ROI for your time, especially if you're already wealthy and used to making big money.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's like compound interest, right? You're saving for retirement or whatever. It's like you're plucking away your $100 a month or whatever it is, and then nothing, and then 30 years later, and you're like, wow, I can retire on this.
Yeah.
And where did that come from? It was the exact same. We were growing at, I don't know, whatever, 10, 20% a month in subscriber count, view count, which on a low base is like, you hardly notice that. But then all of a sudden, if that continues, it blows up and then it totally pays off. Yeah.
Yeah. If I could grow at 10% a month now, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree, man. It's so worth it. And it's cool when I meet other creators who didn't have like such a big jump. We were talking, obviously your story, you mentioned that Shelby Church's sister did some stuff.
Church.
Monica did some stuff at your flips and everything. And I was talking to Shelby as part of one of my YouTube videos. And I was like, how long have you been on YouTube? She's like, like 12 years.
Yeah.
I was like, 12 years?
Yeah.
Were you the first sign up? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And I was like, how has your journey been growing? And it's just like the first bunch of years, nothing. Mm-hmm. And to see 12 years staying with it, it's just like, wow.
It's crazy. I don't know if you've ever watched Matt Risinger from Risinger Build. He's a builder here in town, and he's been doing YouTube for about 10 years. He's great. He has a great channel. It's really about construction science. He's a super nice guy. We met him, and it was the same sort of story. And for him, it was even a better model than like Monica and Shelby Church, where they were doing, lifestyle and beauty stuff as, teenage girls. Matt was a custom home builder. So he had a product to sell. He could put out videos that got 1,000 views.
It'd be worth it.
And he'd get a custom home client out of it that's a $500,000, $1 million house. He'd go build. And that was well worth his time. And then he kept at it over time to now the media portion is huge for him. And, he could sustain that because he was selling something that even with, a few little views. And I think for people that are if you were like a broker or a local agent or something, you could get business to sustain, to make that effort worth it just in the immediate term.
Dude.
And then the upside is huge.
I totally agree with you. Like, I tell them this all the time, especially my realtors at the brokerage. I'm like, guys, you don't need the following I have. Like, literally, if you just had 1,000 followers and you're selling such a high ticket product as a realtor, if you just get, one client that's worth 10 grand in commissions, whatever it is, and you can get far more than that if you just do social media right. And then for guys like us, one deal worth $20,000-$30,000. Like, dude, all I got to do is make this type of content. It gets me one deal.
Yeah.
And it gets you far more than that.
The first deal we ever bought from a subscriber, so it was literally somebody from Houston. They had inherited a house here that was on 5 acres. And the house was, we made a video about it. The house was completely gutted. I mean, it was sticks. It was just, and we chopped it up into the 5 lots. We sold those off independent and flipped the house. So I take that back. We kept 1 lot and we did wholesale for the others. We kept 1, whatever. That whole deal, man, I don't know. Maybe we made 150 grand, and I'd been paying our editor, I don't know, 50 or 60 or that. So that one deal that never would have crossed my desk without the social media thing, paid for at least from my outlay of hiring and investing in that. maybe not my time, but the actual cash out the door, paid for it and then some in that one deal.
Have you ever wanted to invest in real estate, but you didn't have the time to find deals yourself? That's where Fundrise comes in. Fundrise is a crowdfunding platform that has transacted over $5 billion in real estate and has over 150,000 active investors. While many funds, like my own, require accredited investors, Fundrise allows anyone to invest with as little as $500. If you'd like to learn more, check out fundrise.com. Once again, that's fundrise.com. Are you looking to find off-market real estate deals? One of the best tools my team uses is Batch Leads. With Batch Leads, you're able to pull data, manage lists, and send text messages. On top of that, you can get nationwide access to the MLS to get pictures and comps. My team has used Batch Leads to get some of our best deals, so I know it works. If you want to start today, you can get half off your first month by going to batchleads.io and using the promo code Ryan. Once again, that's batchleads.io, promo code Ryan for half off your first month. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I tell people this all the time, like, on social media, I scaled mine just like I scale other business. Like, I don't just go full born off the bat, like, let's just freaking go crazy and let the world on fire. Like, it was a test. Okay, the test is working. Like, let's scale it a little bit. Let's hire a guy. Okay, like, we're getting good results. Let's hire another guy and another guy and another guy. And, now it's at the point where I spend probably $40,000 a month on content. And the return is well worth it. And if there was ways to spend more, I would do it. But I kind of feel like I'm maxed out at like how much content I could actually produce.
Yeah. You need to talk to Monica and Shelby. You just need a twin, I think that's
if I had a twin, dude, then I'm all about delegating and trying not to dude, if I had a twin, that would be it. Like if he could just do all the filming for me, it'd be a wrap. I could just golf all day.
That is a nice thing about working with Lauren, about having a partner, if you've got a brand dealer or whatever, you got somebody to share that load with. And, you're not keeping 100% of all the proceeds or whatever, but who wants to if you're not having fun, if you don't have a partner you can trust, rely on, delegate the things you don't want to do, but they're good at, and vice versa,
Yeah.
That's been... I probably wouldn't have done this if I was going solo. If I was doing your thing and just doing solo, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, yeah. Solo, as far as business or even being a creator, obviously there's pros and cons, like you said. For me, even in my companies where I don't have a partner, I've always given my top guy net profit, and mainly because I want the same incentives, right?
Sure.
I want to be in this together. You may not have true ownership, or we might not have started the company together, but you're now in charge because I'm out here filming podcasts in Austin
for sure.
So people got to be back home making things happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's worked out great. One thing that I think is interesting, we've talked about HGTV for a minute, and I'm giving them too much good press, so I need to set some reality back in store. What are your thoughts on TV at this point, dude?
I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of HGTV. Yeah. I mean, I'm making that kind of content, but it's just such a crazy, antiquated model to me. The alignment of incentives, like you were talking about, between creating content. We started making the show on YouTube, and like I said, we invested in the quality, so it's super high. We had production companies reach out to us well before we had any kind of follow. We were shocked, to kind of talk to us about, would you be interested in a TV show? We were super flattered. Like, wow, that wasn't the goal. People think that's the goal. We're still trying to get on HGTV, or when are you going to get a show? We don't want a show.
Yeah.
We were doing our own show. Because we talked to them and went down this rabbit hole about, well, what does that look like? And it's insane, man. It's this crazy, funnel where they're like, oh, well, we'll lock up the rights to 1 million shows. They'll say no to all but 10%. Those 10% will get like a sizzle reel, and then 10% of those will get a pilot, and then the 10% of that will get a run of 10 shows, and then 10% of that will make it to multiple seasons. We're like, wow, that's crazy. But I guess if you make it big and everybody looks at, Fixer Upper, and it's like, well, that's a success. But they were, the economics on that were insane. They were like, okay, well, for a 30-minute to an hour show, and I don't know if these budgets are real. This is what production companies told us, but they said, we'll budget between $250,000 to $500,000 production budget to pay film crews, everything, including talent. I was like, whoa, cool, wow, that's
get paid,
great.
baby.
I'm about to get paid. And so like, what would be our cut on that? They're like, well, per episode, you're probably looking at somewhere, depends, between $2,000 and $10,000 an episode.
Yeah.
On a $250,000 to $500,000 budget, you're going to pay me as little as $2,000 for doing all the, and it was still like, you weren't just a paid actor to show up. It was like you had to source the deal. You had to actually renovate it.
Take the risk.
Yeah, take the risk and all that. And
also, by the way, when you flip a house on TV, you're just opening yourself up for all the liability.
Oh, it's crazy. and then not to mention, you don't really own any of your story. You can't tell your story. Like we'd have them say like, well, don't you guys want to, can we see you fight about something?
Yeah.
And we're like, what do you mean? Like, what do you disagree about on that? So we're like, we flip because we're pretty good friends and we get along. And like, I don't want to work with people I fight with,
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but I mean, I think it would play better on the TV show if you.
Can we create some kind of love angle that,
Oh, yeah, yes. We had people pitch that. And we're like, no, we specifically say on the channel, we are just friends because we're happily married. We've got spouses. That's not what we're doing on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if? And you're,
What if?
No, dude. And you just know that if you're not in control of that story,
They do. Yeah.
they can edit to whatever. And I just had no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah, dude. I've had a similar experience. We've had all these production companies come up and they're like, yeah. Like, let's pitch you to the networks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, what's it look like? And we went down the rabbit hole. Well, so my first time at this was before I ever was big on social media. Someone saw me on Instagram like, oh, this guy's flipping a lot of houses. He's young.
Good looking guy, man.
Well, so they're like, yo, let's do this. And so we go down the path. I'm like, all right. And they're like, okay, we couldn't get it approved, whatever. I was like, that's fine. So this was like maybe 4 years ago. So then we go to round 2 last year. A&E was like, yeah, we're starting a new show, blah, blah, blah. We want to have you in it. And I'm like, all right, well, first off, I've been down this rabbit hole before. Like, are you the actual production company or are you A&E? Right. And they're like, oh, we are the production company for A&E. And I go, okay, whatever. I go like, I'll do Zooms. So we do Zooms, whatever. And they're like, yeah, we like this concept of how your family works with you and, your office culture. You guys got some characters over there. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then they're like, I had to interview on Zoom with a bunch of my partners at different businesses, right? We do all these Zooms. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, we want to see the dynamic between you and your sister. My sister's my COO. And I'm like, all right, cool. Dude, we literally did like 5 Zooms. And finally, and this was in the period of months. And finally, they're like, yeah, it's you and 2 other people. We've narrowed it down to 3. We need to film the pilot and all this stuff. I go, guys, first off, show me a contract first. Like, I ain't got time to deal your stupid pilot, okay? And also, too, let's talk about what this show's going to look like because you ain't in charge. Like, if I'm going to do a show, I need creative control, and I need to be able to have a say in what it, and they're like, oh, well, no one gets creative control, not even A-list actors and stuff. And, and contract-wise, we could talk about that after. I'm like, guys, I don't have time for this, dude. Right. But the second thing is, you're just hoping that, okay, by being on TV, the exposure's worth it on the back end. Right.
Yeah, and my point to them was exactly that. They're like, well, you'll be so much exposure for your business, and your business will take off. And I'm like, if it's just about the exposure, like I'm doing the views that some of these shows do on the YouTube. So if we're talking about the eyeballs and the people that are exposed to my brand, I've got that.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, is there any sort of angle? Or you guys only want to flip? I noticed you did a hoarder house. Would you only do hoarder houses or whatever? It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't need an angle. And they're like, well, couples have been done, but you guys are friends. Maybe that could work. We're like, look, we're flipping houses in the 21st century. We're flipping houses in the social media age. We let our viewers vote on our design decisions in real time on Instagram. They stay up to date. It's not like a season that gets delivered to them at the end. It's interactive. We've raised a fund from our audience so like they can actively invest in the projects real time. It's like our angle is we're doing the model you should be evolving into.
They're like, nah.
No. Well, we still gonna have to pitch it to the board and this black box. It's like, okay, guys,
this ain't gonna work.
Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna work.
Well, and here's the thing is, like you mentioned, right, with TV. I don't know about anybody watching this, but it's pretty apparent that TV is going on the decline. Social media is on the incline. So, and also too, as a creator, you have complete control of what you want to do, when you want to work, how you want the story to play out, how the quality is, right? Like at the end of the day, what do you even need these TV networks for? Like at this point, and when you look at the actual views of how the show does, is like, how many views is this show even getting compared to what your YouTube channel gets?
And what I pointed out is, I said, look, your average demographic is 65 years old on HGTV.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane? Ours is 32 on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, how are you not begging me to take this built-in audience, drag them back to the TV network, you know?
I think, so I started a fund too, Pineda Capital, and one of the investors there is in the TV industry. It's not HGTV. He's just been in TV for a long time. And basically he was saying that, TV, obviously the numbers are down. He's like, he wouldn't advise anybody to get into TV coming out of college the way it is now. But it's like, he was telling us that it's so antiquated with like they still don't get it. And we were just using my YouTube Talking Heads as an example, right? We do all these cuts. We do like all these text and things. And if they watched it, they'd be like, that's the worst video I've ever seen. Like, what are they doing?
Right. The production quality sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, no, that's like what people want to see on YouTube.
Right.
That's why we do it.
Right.
And it's just, they don't get it. I just don't get how they don't get it.
We've actually gotten pushback. I'd say our quality on our shows, we strive for super high, almost TV production quality, but we're 80% there, right? Because we're not spending $250,000, and we still get pushback. Like some people are like, "These are too produced for YouTube. Like we want to scale it back," and we're like, "Wow, okay." So we
people
try
like the rawness.
They like that, and so we've incorporated more like vlogging and low quality, bad light, whatever, which is just crazy,
Yeah. But that's what I think people want to see. Like, they've been watching TV and quote-unquote reality TV for all these years, which is not reality, right? So overproduced that when they see, like, the truth of, like, yo, this guy really is flipping houses. He's showing me, like, raw. We know this isn't, like, some fake staged fight.
Right.
It's just people like that better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's all about, on social media, building that durable audience that connects with you and your personality. That's been our strategy the whole time, is like, hey, can we entice people into watching a real estate transformation story? And along the way, if they like us and they like what we're doing and like what we're about, boom, you've got an audience that's going to stick with you, whatever you do. If you pivot to, flipping cars or making pizzas, whatever you want to do, which is amazing for creators in this economy. If you can really build a loyal audience, it's sort of like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, they're following you because they like you, and they want to support you, in your life. Like, dude,
for sure,
it's funny, man. When you meet people that follow you, it's like, they know you. They feel like they know you, and like, even though you've never met, it's like they know everything about you. It's crazy.
Yeah, Ray over here, man.
Ray, dude. Ray was
creeping me out with the knowledge he's got.
He was like, dude, do you remember in episode 12 at minute 12 that, So, yeah, it's crazy, man. But it's not to just hate on TV. I'll probably never do TV, but, we'll see. Maybe 5 years from now, they'll finally have adapted and be
I know, right?
Like, hey, dude, Ryan, please do this for us. And I'll be like, hey, please send me your contract and add like 2 zeros.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'll be like, please send me your contract, add 2 zeros to the end, and then give me full creative control, and then let's have a chat.
Right. Maybe you could just buy them out of bankruptcy, man. And you
Yeah,
do whatever you want.
That's true, dude. Actually, I just had a guy on here that bought a newspaper, because it's just one of those archaic things. Like newspapers are, old school, and he bought one out of like bankruptcy.
That's awesome, man. You just say whatever you want. That's Jeff Bezos pulled that off.
That's what I
Washington
said.
Post.
Yeah, dude. When you own the paper and the news, you can do what you want. So, well, that's cool, man. It's been really cool to see your journey, and I'm rooting for you. Like I've interviewed other people that are kind of attacking TV. Like I don't think I'm like attacking TV with my content. Like I'm just like making raw stuff. Like I'm not competing directly with TV. I feel like you are with what you're doing. And like I had another guy who's doing a lot of sports content. I'm like, dude, you're competing with SportsCenter.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're competing with SportsCenter, like with the quality of things you're doing. Like all these guys doing recaps every night of the games, like they're competing with
for sure,
all of them on TV. And so it's going to be interesting to see. We had the discussion of like, is ESPN going to like try to get these guys because they have a huge following, getting tens of millions of views.
Well, that's what I went. When I first went down this rabbit hole, I didn't realize how many people had come as digital creators up through it. To superstar. Justin Bieber or like Andy Samberg on SNL.
Lonely Island.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like people that you just discover them and on mainstream media, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm a talented person. You had no idea the background. It's the new funnel. If I were a kid starting out or whatever, and I wanted to be an actor, like a movie actor or whatever, I go start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you for sure don't need to go on casting calls and all this stuff. Like, dude, you'll be found. Yeah,
and the beauty of that too is like, I'm not in Hollywood or whatever, but it seemed like, oh man, do you get the lucky break and you get cast as Harry Potter, when you're 12, and that's how you make it great. And it's a luck thing, but today it's not a luck thing. It's a grind thing. You can
get noticed if you have talent and you put in the work. You'll get noticed.
And you don't even have to be, it's not like you have to be a supermodel or whatever, or a movie star actor, looks wise.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, guys, they're like, okay, but what, if you're good looking and you speak well, of course.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, okay. Let's take a step back here. Let's look at all these finance, creators and stuff. Average at best.
Sure.
And so, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I won't speak for Lauren, but I'll speak for myself. I'm like, I would never get an HGTV show, Like, I'm not an ugly dude. I'm not like movie star. But nobody's gonna pick me out of line and be like, yeah, that's hunky.
Our next dude.
That's a hunky dad bod, man. Get that man on TV. No, they're not gonna do that. But you don't need permission anymore.
No, you can do you, and that's the beauty of this new social media age, man. So I'm rooting for you to destroy the TV people and just keep on stealing their views, dude.
Awesome, man.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna link to your channel down below so everyone can go check out the Austin Flipsters. Go pick out the next color scheme of your flip, man.
Yeah, you got to follow us on IG if you want real time. If you want to vote on all the projects and follow real time.
Yeah.
At Austin Flipsters, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, guys, make sure you go give them a follow on IG and make sure you subscribe to this podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.